Title: But you are a woman. I am very comfortably child-free and female. I have mental health and health issues, and to be honest it's not something I could bring a child into. I'm single, so dating is fun. This is also a couple of years ago. So I was dating this guy. I really liked him. We were dating for about 4 months, dinner, movies, went over to his house quite a few times. Really got to know him. He also got to know me, and he knew I didn't want children, and I didn't want to be a step-parent, and the reasons. I was pretty honest about it on our first date and afterwards. So 4 months in, he wants to take our relationship to the next level. Turns out he had 4 kids. 4. I'd been to his house. There were no pictures of them anywhere logical in his house. None. But you're a woman. Women always want children. There must be something wrong with you. They are wonderful kids if you just get to know them. They don't need you to parent, but it would be wonderful if you could be there for them, not this woman. It wasn't just that he had children, but he lied. So he slagged me off to every man he could find in some sort of rage, deranged sex block. Title: Entitled Mom threatened to sue me, forced me to find her son's missing teeth after he tried to drown me. So this story comes from about 16 to 17 years ago, when I was about 7 to 8 years old. Some details might not be word for word given the time and age difference. During the summer, my parents would send me off to a day camp at a local water park called Water World, which has been closed for the past few years. Its main attraction was the large outdoor pool, the rope swing, the raft slide, and the shotgun slide. The place was a real dump, and by all accounts should have been condemned. The sidewalks would get so hot that they would burn your feet, there was almost no shade, and we would be forced to walk across it constantly for camp activities while barefoot. The volleyball court next to the large pool had wasps living in the sand every year. The wooden structures were all moldy, including the support beams for some of the water slides, especially the raft one that was 3 stories tall. One of the pool's slides was permanently shut down due to serious injury, and the surrounding woods were filled with dumped appliances and several broken down and rusted out vehicles that we children would play on and around when we were told to go play in the woods by our lazy minimum wage teenage camp counselors. To exhaustively explain how much of a dump this place was, my fondest memory of the place is when I saved my friend's little brother, who was 5 at the time, from a swarm of wasps after he apparently threw a car battery on top of their nest to see what would happen. Let that sink in. Anyways, on with the story. I was swimming in the shallow end of the pool with a few of my friends at the time while waiting for our parents to pick us up when a larger kid, probably around 13 years old, the age limit for the camp, came over and started dunking me under the water. At first I thought it was just him messing around, but for some reason he kept dunking me under the water, trying to get some sick entertainment out of it. This went on for several minutes. None of the lifeguards were paying attention, and the same went for the camp counselors. At one point, I said to myself, I'm going to drown if this goes on any longer. I have to do something. I immediately got a grip on the bottom of the pool and jumped up as forcefully as I could, head-butting back into his face in an attempt to break free. I apparently broke 3 of his teeth loose, and, in the chaos that immediately followed, I got away. I didn't care about the kid, I just wanted to get out of the pool, so I went to a counselor and told them that the kid and I got into a fight. Fighting at the camp was fairly normal because the counselors openly didn't care at all. The counselor went to see if the kid was okay after making me wait in a nearby building, and I didn't hear back from them for some time. After about 15 minutes or so, this tall woman barges into the building with the counselor in tow. Enter the entitled mother, M. Are you the little shit that hit my son? Me, what? The counselor walked away at this point with a not my job kind of attitude while M grabbed me with both hands, repeating, did you hit my son? I tried to tell her what happened. He was drowning me and nobody would help, but that's bullshit. My son was just playing with you and your friends, and you hit him. He would never hurt anyone, let alone drown them. He's missing teeth now. M then gestured to the pool, where the kid I had head-butted was still waiting in the shallow area, gauze in his mouth. You're going to go help him find his teeth, then you're going to juvie and I'll be suing your family for the damages including the lifelong trauma and quality of life problems you've given my son. I kept saying things like, but he was trying to kill me, or, it's not my fault he wouldn't let go, but in M's mind her son could do no harm and I was the devil child who dared to fight back. The whole time, I was still being held and shaken back and forth by M. I actually was forced by both the entitled mom and a counselor to look around in the pool with the entitled kid for about 15 minutes for his missing teeth until my dad drove in to pick me up. I'm sorry to say I missed the conversation that unfurled between the entitled mom and my dad as it happened in the parking lot, but suffice to say I didn't go to juvie, we weren't sued, and I never heard from M or her son again. We stopped going to that camp a year later. Edit, I guess I should throw this out there, but we called the kid in this story, Spaz. This was by his own request, and it was because he would constantly pick fights or have dramatic outbursts. Title: Entitled Mom Yells at Me for Walking on the Sidewalk. A while back, my school held this fundraising campaign selling coupon books and gave each student an envelope to collect money from people who wanted to buy them or something. Me, being the sucker for punishment that I am, decided to go house to sell the darn things. After making about 2 sales over about 2 hours, I decided to pack up and head home. I guess I must have lost myself in thought or something because I didn't notice the 2 rollerblading kids coming at me from behind. They were no more than 4 or 5 and didn't have great control over the rollerblades, causing them to run into me and fall down. I said sorry, even if it wasn't my fault. Canada works like that, and assumed that was it. However, I had failed to notice their M coming from behind, yelling at me about not watching where I was going and causing her children to fall down. By that time I was too tired to care and ignored her yelling, which put all the blame on me, even though it was her kids that ran into me. It didn't even occur to me at that moment how she was dropping an F-bomb every 3rd word, in front of her kindergarten-aged kids. Title: My father just, jokingly, asked my sister downstairs if she had seen his bolo knife because he's going to use it on my mom. First of all, they're separated, but my mom is letting him stay even if he's a dick because he is jobless and has nowhere to go. I had to go downstairs just to make sure he really wouldn't do what he said. My mom beats him up, as in she punched him, and kicked him multiple times to teach him a lesson, and now he's playing the victim and saying it was just a joke. That's not a good joke, and from what I can hear from my room, it sounds like he's really gonna do it. He's just annoyed my mom is moving on from their separation and he is not. No one in our community wants to be in a relationship with him because he's the type of person who likes to spread rumors. He had spread a lot of my mom's secrets. I don't know if this counts as a parent being entitled, but he sure is feeling entitled that he owns the house even if mom mostly paid for all of the renovations. He wants my mom gone of our house even if he doesn't even have a job to pay the bills and support us, his children. While he's still playing the victim, telling us he only did it because our mom now has a relationship with another man, I tried to tell him why he was beaten up. Then, he started complaining about us being lazy in house chores. I was like mad because there are so much schoolworks I have to do all the time, and he was unemployed. He's mostly just bark, and no bite, but when he threatens my mom like that, I'm a little scared that he is actually imagining it in his mind. I don't really want to lose my respect for him as a father, but his actions all these years keep reminding me that he could be disgusting. Sorry for this. I'm just overwhelmed because it had just happened a while ago today, and I have let it all outside. I don't want to talk about it to my real-life friends. Title: Mother Doesn't Give Me Space, 20F. Hi, so I'm in college and my mother lives in another state. We are not that close, but I guess trying to get there after some childhood trauma she induced. Anyways, she texts me every day and expects to text all day about frivolous things, and if I don't text back she becomes passive-aggressive and makes side comments. For X, she texted me good morning at 8 a.m. and I texted back at 1 p.m. and she said, "Oh, just now waking up." Or, how are you going to text back hours later? That's rude. I find that so rude, like literally STFU, my life does not revolve around you but she thinks it does. College itself is a full-time job, then I have other things I'm working on and trying to squeeze leisure time in. She's constantly asking about my job and never really cares about anything else. I am really tired of it and her asking me questions about my life and if I'm a virgin and telling me randomly to keep my legs closed and not be a cum bucket. It's just very odd to me and stressful. I'm not texting her back today.